Hello, this is John Miller, the creator of this podcast. Now, the rest of Everest is probably the most in-depth look at just what it takes to climb the world's highest peak. But keep in mind that it is a series. And if you're checking out the podcast for the first time, do yourself a favor, go back to episode 0 and watch everything in order. That's really the right way to enjoy it. Thanks so much.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience.
Episode 73, the Jokhang.
Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Rest of Everest video podcast. I'm John Miller, joined again, as always, with Scott Jacobs. How you doing, Scott?
Doing well, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and I just want to quickly apologize to everyone for not putting an episode out last week. This is going to happen probably here and there. I'm going to do my best to get the episodes out on a weekly basis, but with a new son, still kind of figuring it all out and how much time I have, and I certainly don't have as much time as I used to. So if I am missing a week, don't be worried. I just probably got caught up with my fatherly duties, which is definitely a priority. So, but anyway, this week we are going to really get into some really cool cultural stuff in Lhasa. We spend a good part of the day touring around some of the cultural sites here in the old part of Lhasa. So let's get going. Let's head back to Lhasa. Here we go. So this is the Jokhang Temple, which, as we mentioned before, is the most important and oldest Buddhist temple in Tibetan Buddhism.
It's a really interesting temple. It's built around 3 circles, or 3 Koras, which we've talked about before. There's an inner Kora, a middle Kora, which I think is where we're standing right now, and then the outer Kora, which is the circle that goes outside the building, on the outside of the building. Yeah, this is the middle circle, or the middle
we
Kora.
We are in this temple called Jokhang Temple, which is supposed to be one of the oldest temple in Tibet. The Buddhist temple, and it was established, even before the Buddhism has spread fully into Tibet. Fully inside the Tibet, even only from 8th century, this Buddhism has started flourishing in Tibet. But before that, it was established a century before that. It was in 7th century. And this is the courtyard of this temple. And in this courtyard, monks used to have philosophical discussions. Or if it is fine weather, they used to have it. Or sometimes even in the top, even on the roof, they used to have these discussions. Yeah, you can hear that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that, can you see one seat over there? Yes. That is the throne or seat of the Dalai Lama. Like whenever he visits here, he uses it as a seat of him, and he gives what you call preach in front of the pilgrims or gathering. Here people used to have gathering and get the bless from him. So this is the courtyard of the temple.
We say it time and again, but I love the decoration.
I cannot.
Pictures are not allowed.
Out here it's okay?
Yeah. Yeah, outside it's fine.
When does it close?
7:30. 7:30.
That's something that we came across a lot. You cannot film inside. So all of the wonders that are inside are going to remain a mystery. You have to go there and see it for yourself. But a lot of golden statues and a long line of pilgrims all making their way around the inside, doing a Kora. That's what these people are doing as well. Those are all prayer wheels in the back there.
I was taken by... it's a large building, but the center is actually pretty small in terms of it's not huge in grandeur. So there's probably 300 people inside, and it was packed. But it's so nice because we were just given full access. I mean, it was not rude. People would grab us, pull us through the line to go see some of their inner rooms. It was actually kind of nice. Everybody was very good to us.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that Tibetan Buddhists are very excited to see other, Westerners or people who are not Buddhist explore the religion and the things that are important in that religion. They're very welcoming and they're very eager to share. Because, especially now with the occupation and a lot of traditions are being crushed, they're very eager to keep it going and share it with the rest of the world. It's really important to them. So, yeah, we were treated very well, and we were, like Scott said, we were able to cut in line.
We were forced to cut in line.
Yeah, forced to, yeah, literally.
Welcome to cut in line.
So again, what all these people are doing is they're performing a Kora, which is again a circumambulation. So they're walking around the building. This is one of the inner Koras, and you always walk around as the tradition in clockwise fashion. You never walk counterclockwise. You just don't. And the building's very ornate. It's very old, like he said, dates back from the 8th century, and everything is symbolic. Everything is symbolic. And what you can't tell from the video is that everything is carved. You'll see like walls and they just look like they have some sort of, texture on them, like in the clay or something. But really it's all carved and everything's extremely ornate everywhere. In all the places that we went. Everything's covered with symbolism. So this is the inner courtyard again. And now we're up on the roof. We were able to go all over this temple and get up and close and personal with a lot of it. It's really cool.
Beautiful view of the Potala Palace.
In the background there, yep.
This is Barkor Square looking across at the Potala Palace.
Truly a wonder of the world there. That really is an amazing place. We'll visit that in just a little bit. Not this episode, but soon, I promise.
What's all this? You mean this thing? In most of the temples and monasteries, you will find these kind of things. These two, deer and this religious wheel, represents, when Buddha, when he gave the first preach, or what you call when he gave when he taught the first will of what you call Dharma or religion, he gave this speech, he gave this preach in a place called Sarnath in India, which is known as a deer park. A deer park? Yeah. So we put it so there is two saying, some people claims when the Buddha's time, when he gave, it was like a great time. When he gave us preach, even the animals could hear and could get the lessons from which he gave the preach. When he gave the preach to the public and the gathering, even the animals, they could hear the lessons of this.
They understood.
Yeah, they understand, and they get the blast out of this preach. So that's why at most of the temples and monasteries, we have these kind of things in the middle of this either temple or monasteries. So like the center of them represents wheel of Dharma, turning a Dharma around the whole world, or flourishing the religion, which represents flourishing of religion. And these two animals, for that we have two different sayings. When he gave the first speech, it was at Deer Park in India called Sarnath. The place called Sarnath. So we have this kind of things.
So you have the deer to show that where the first
when
preaching
the
was
first,
done, but also that the animals are understanding.
Yeah, could hear and could have this. Could gain the knowledge of the preach he gave to the public. That was like when Buddha's time, even the animals could easily gain the what you call salvation and enlightenment.
They look like
through his preach, It's like even by hearing, you get the bless. Like just now we have seen a gathering there, right? They were having a gathering and they were having a prayer. But by hearing this prayer, we are getting inside something, virtue, which is good thing. But you don't need to do anything. But by hearing, just by hearing,
you have to understand what is being said.
Just by hearing, you could gain a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of virtue and good things, Like when it comes to religion, we have like verbally, physically, mentally, and intellectually. Like we have usually we have three different kinds of. Like when you offer things, all these three things has to be with you mentally. Like when you give a money to, give a donation to suppose when you give a donation to a charitable institutions, you are mentally, with them. You have to be mentally with them, physically, and verbally as well. When you do good thing to earn a virtue, it has to be done with all these things. All these things.
With every fiber of you. Yeah. Every aspect of you. Everything that you are.
It has to be involved.
Yeah.
Not just money, even your mental, by heart, and by physically and verbally. Like some people just they pay money to a baker, but they curse them with their mouth. With their tongue, which is bad. They are doing two different things. One in a good, positive way, but as at that very time, he's doing a bad thing by verbally. So both things has to be gone together.
Good, yeah.
Is a respect for the Buddha, paying a homage to the Buddha.
As you could tell, Jokhang is very passionate about all of this, and he is Buddhist, and as you'll hear in a minute, he is Tibetan. He's proud of that fact. So these are all pilgrims and other Buddhists who live in Lhasa, around Lhasa, who come to the temple here to prostrate themselves and show their devotion. This is not easy.
I like to think about this has been going on daily for hundreds of years. Maybe not during some of the Chinese cultural revolution, but
people were very happy to be there. And as we were performing Koras, they were really, really happy to see us walking around. And they knew that we were doing a Kora, and people would put their hands on you and
just beautiful.
And just walk with you, just silently. Complete strangers. You can really hear all the rubbing on the stone pavers there.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. It's just just the sound in the background. It's almost like white noise.
Also keep in mind that it's cold. It's probably 35, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So that ground is very cold.
I think at this point I was just privileged, starting to feel the privilege of being at this spot with so many devout religious people. It was hard not to get caught up in the feeling of just their spirituality. And I'm not saying that I'm Buddhist, because I'm certainly not, but I don't know, just the feeling there is just, you're kind of standing in awe of these people's beliefs.
That's well put.
Yeah.
It permeates
So this
everything.
area is very Tibetan.
Truly.
Outside it's more Chinese.
You will find more Chinese.
Mostly Chinese.
You will find more Chinese.
Are you Tibetan?
Yeah, I'm Tibetan. Pure Tibetan.
You're Tibetan. You proud to be pure Tibetan?
Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Very good.
But I used to get depressed sometimes.
Why?
Yeah, I have reason.
Yeah.
So many reasons.
So many.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure does. He was, at the beginning here, he was fairly reserved on camera, but off camera, he was very open with us. He has a lot of reasons to be depressed.
People see like this kind of.
We won't go into those now. I was real happy to be up there. And this is one of the few photos of Scott and I together.
That's one of my favorite photos.
This is before the altitude sickness hit me. I'm still smiling. I will not be smiling in a future episode. And again, to people who are joining this podcast, and you're like, why? Okay, this is about Everest. Why are we looking at all this stuff? Well, you can't really visit Everest and take it out of the context of the Tibet or Nepal. It's not a mountain in the United States.
So what do you think so far?
So you have to do all this.
It's hard to put into words. I mean, come on.
I'm here and I have this pressure in my chest because it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain what I'm feeling being here. It's as a Westerner, you get kind of turned off by a lot of the new agey stuff. It can seem very forced. It can seem very plastic. And when you come here, you can really internalize these sort of thoughts and this sort of energy, and it feels right to me. And
I just think the difference is that, this is certainly has nothing to do with New Age. I don't think that's what you're inferring, but it's just pure. It's old. It's pure and genuine. So I don't know, the feeling. This is a church. We're in a church, and you definitely get the feeling.
There's several places on the planet that are like this. I've been fortunate enough to be to a few of them. It's hard to know what exactly it is. Like, I'm not a very religious person. I don't know if I ever will be, but what I've always kind of thought is that there's so many people whose energies are focused on these places.
Sure.
That it's a collective unconscious thing, and you can feel the prayer that's going on here.
We have, I think 500 people as a guest coming in now on a pilgrimage, and they do this every day, walking around, and we were lucky enough to go and visit it. But yes, there's definitely a feeling. You definitely feel their intention and their energy. So.
And the most mind-boggling thing to me is that our hotel's right across the street.
We were very lucky.
We're very lucky. We get to look out on this every morning that we're here.
By the way, we're standing near the home of the Dalai Lama. It's only a few yards away from me. Wow. At this temple, it's home of the Dalai Lama. Well, he would stay here. Interesting side note.
It's just an amazing place.
Yeah, it really was an amazing place, and you know, it was a good first place to go, and it's just the beginning, everyone. I mean, this is just the beginning of the Tibet portion of the trip, and like I was saying, you can't go to Everest and be isolated from all of this. This is part of why people climb Everest. Very few climbers are interested only in the mountain. Obviously, the mountain's the goal, and that's the reason you're there, but we came across a lot of climbers all getting to the mountain via Lhasa, and so they were taken in this journey as well, and they were seeing all the sights just like we were. It's all part of the acclimatization process, and it's just a really good thing to do, and it really gets you in tune with the mountain and the energy and the spiritual nature of the mountain itself. It's all really good, and it can actually do nothing but hurt. It can do nothing but good as you attempt a summit of Everest. So, next episode, we are, how do I say this? We're going to think about yaks, and we're going to internalize those thoughts. Let's just say that. So, I will do my best to get an episode out next week. So, thanks so much, Scott.
John, thanks.
All right, everyone, we will see you then. Bye. The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every week. If you enjoy watching and would like to show your support, then take a look at my website. Aside from having lots of additional blog entries from the expedition updated every week, there's this little donation button on every page. Now, many of you have pressed that button, and your generous contributions are helping to cover my hosting fees. If you haven't donated but would like to, then just contribute any amount. In return, I'll give you access to the video and audio dispatches I sent out while we were actually at Everest. It's pretty interesting stuff. Contribute $25 or more, and I'll even throw in an iPod-compatible version of the film Everest: The Other Side. That's the project the entire podcast here is based on. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.